Okay, so today we are going to talk about hair and porosity. I've gotten this question a few different times. I've mentioned several times on my videos on my blog that my hair is low porosity. So a lot of people are like, Elle, how did you figure out you were low porosity? And how do you care for your hair? How does that change how you care for your hair? And I've also said that porosity is much more important than your curl pattern in order to determine what your hair needs. So I just thought I'd go over porosity. I realized I really didn't have like a long post on it or anything like that. So basically, your hair can be low, normal, or high porosity. And porosity means basically how well your hair absorbs water, or basically anything, just how well it absorbs things. So there are two tests that people often do in order to determine porosity. The first one is you take like a few strands of hair and you put it in, they're supposed to be clean strands. You put them in a glass of water, and then if they sink quickly, they're supposed to be high porosity because it's absorbing the water faster. And I know I did this test on my hair like long time ago, and I think I left the hair in there for like 3 days and it still like didn't sink at all. So that was one of the things I did. Then there's also you're supposed to do on a clean strand or whatever, just feel up and down your strand. Like you take like one strand of hair, and then if it's smooth, like slick, then it's supposed to be low porosity. If you can feel like holes in your hair strand, if you can feel like bumps where the cuticle might either be lifted or the cuticle has been, broken off or something like that, then you're supposed to be high porosity. Now, obviously, if you're somewhere in between those two, if you kind of feel it's supposed to be normal. So, to be truthful, I don't really find either of these super accurate because obviously there's a lot of room for human error. A lot of people do these tests, or they might not wash their hair before they put it in a jar of water and it's covered in butter, so then their hair is heavier. It could be a number of things, or if you're doing protein treatments, and protein will basically fill in your hair shaft. So then it might, seem to be like a lower porosity than it really is because protein treatments obviously are not permanent. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to continue to do them. So the way I like to determine porosity, basically listening to your hair and how your hair acts. Um, like I said, porosity is how well your hair will absorb things. So, how long does it take your hair to get wet in the shower? Can you just jump in the shower and all of a sudden your hair is soaked? Or do you need to like stand under the stream of water for a little bit until it gets soaked? And then, even then, your hair might not feel fully soaked. So, that's one of the things. I know my hair takes a pretty long time to get wet in the shower. I can't just like stand under the stream of water. I have to basically squeeze water into my hair and manipulate it while I'm in the shower in order for it to get fully wet. If it rains outside, unless it's like pouring down rain, it can get on my hair and it will like kind of sprinkle it, but I can see little water droplets on my hair, so it's not absorbing things like that. So that's one of the characteristics. Also, the way your products react when you put them on. Early in my hair journey, I was kind of confused because I was using really heavy products because those are the kinds of products I thought as a black woman I was supposed to use. I just said that. Yes. Anyways, so there were these like oil laden products that were very heavy, and then I was like, well, this isn't absorbing into my hair. It's not my hair is turning white. It's just sitting on top of my hair. Like I had this refresher spray when my hair is shorter, and when I sprayed it on my hair, I basically would have to like rub it into my hair. Otherwise, I just had white droplets all over my head. Oh, it was Diva Curl Set It Free. I love that stuff, right? But I can't just like spray it on my hair because I can see little droplets on my hair. Or if I use another refresher spray, it's literally just sitting there. It's not absorbing. Heavier products like with oils that are harder, like water is the easiest thing to penetrate your hair shaft. If you're using something that is a bigger like molecule, like an oil, it's not going to go through if your hair is low porosity. If your cuticles are lifted, it's going to be able to get in there more. Does that make sense? I think so, right? Totally. Um, so that's another way I see it. I know some people say, they're like, my hair will suck up hair products like that. It's just so easy, like it just sucks up everything. Those are usually people with higher porosity hair. And to say that your high porosity does not mean your hair is damaged, it does not mean that there's anything wrong with your hair, although dyeing your hair, relaxers can change your porosity, can heighten your porosity because the cuticle is getting chipped away or the cuticle is getting lifted. But you can have naturally high porosity hair, you can have naturally low porosity hair, and people would like to say that generally low porosity hair is healthier, but that's not always true because it's so hard for moisture to get into your hair strand, and once it's in there it'll stay, but after that it's really hard to get it in there. So then you might not be moisturizing your hair properly. It might not be as elastic as it needs to be, so your hair might break easier. So yeah, just things like that. And also I feel as if people want to correct your porosity. You can correct your porosity to a certain extent. Like if your hair is high porosity, like I said, you can use protein treatments. Henna will also coat your hair. So that's another reason why I stopped using henna, because I was putting more coating on my hair, and then I would realize after I would do a henna, it was so hard for anything to absorb, and that's because my hair is already low porosity. It doesn't need any more coating. So that's just another thing. You can do something to coat it, but then after, if your cuticle breaks, then you can't really do anything to correct it because after the cuticle is gone, it ain't coming back. So you're just going to have to work with your hair and constantly moisturize it. Like I said, even though with low porosity hair, it takes a lot for the moisture to get in, but then it stays. With high porosity hair, it sucks it right up, but then it'll go right back out. So then those kinds of people are usually moisturizing their hair more often than a low porosity person may have to. For example, when I had my hair in twists the other week, I was just using oils on my hair. I wasn't moisturizing my hair with a water-based moisturizer at all, and my hair did not dry out at all. It felt absolutely lovely. So if you are a higher porosity person, you may need to be moisturizing daily or every other day in order to make sure you're getting that constant moisture to your hair. Let's see, what else about porosity? Oh, how to correct it. Okay, so I said when you have higher porosity, you can do like henna, protein treatments, make sure you're sealing, coating the hair shaft, things like that. So with lower porosity hair, there are a couple things you can do. It's a little harder, maybe a little bit more controversial to correct, but I don't care. I did it and my hair was much better for it. For example, the Cherry Lola treatment that I've written about on my blog, with baking soda. Baking soda is alkaline. It has like a pH of 9. So when you have a pH of 9, it's going to lift your hair cuticle. And I would notice when I would do these Cherry Lola treatments that when I conditioned my hair after this treatment, even a conditioner I thought was like crappy would work so much better. And I was just like, oh my God, like what's going on? And I started doing some research, looking things up, and I realized it was lifting my cuticle a little bit. So then my hair was accepting these conditioners that it previously was not accepting. So that's one way to do it. And I've said on my blog numerous times that I love the Cherry Lola treatment. I do it if I feel as if I've done something too acidic to my hair, like Ayurvedic treatments. I'll do that to kind of like counterbalance and get my pH level back to normal. But I do not recommend Cherry Lolas if you already have high porosity hair because your cuticle is already lifted. You don't want to lift it more. So it doesn't make sense. It's probably going to damage your hair. Um, and also, I feel steaming can lift your cuticle. That's usually what I do now. That's why I DC with steam a lot of the time instead of just like regular conditioner leaving it in, because it does lift the cuticle. And I can tell before I bought my steamer, I had like a closed steamer, and when I would use that, I would run it over my hair, and if I had something in my hair that wasn't absorbing, I would literally run the steamer over my hair, and then it would start to absorb. It was really cool to watch. So that's another thing you can do. Do I think steaming is absolutely necessary if you have low porosity hair? I wouldn't say that, but I have a steamer and I might as well use it so I don't waste my money. But I don't think you need to. I don't think that baking soda is bad. I don't think that a pH of 9 is necessarily bad. Castile soap has a pretty high pH as well. People use that all the time. You just need to make sure that you're sealing your cuticle back down, or if you have low porosity hair, I think your cuticle will naturally go back down, because I've done so many cherry Lola treatments and then a week later my hair is like, yeah, so what is this? We're not trying to absorb this either, honey. So that's just my little take on it. I really don't think it's bad. I wouldn't do them every day. Um, Probably not more than like once every other week, and make sure you're just conditioning your hair. And for me, that was really helpful. It was really integral um, to me learning how to care for my hair. But I think that is pretty much all I had to say. I went over porosity, how to correct porosity, and characteristics of how your hair. I said just really think of your hair like a thread. So if you have a thread that is made out of like cotton, that's like it will absorb water really easily. Then I would say that's like more of a high porosity. But then if you have thread that's not like exactly equivalent, but more like nylon where nothing is going to absorb, then I would put that along the lines of lower porosity. So just think of how your hair is accepting of moisture and accepting of liquids and things like that. So I really hope that this was helpful. I try not to ramble on too much. It's like 12 minutes talking about porosity. Who knew? Um, but yeah, if you have any additional questions, oh, real quick, 13 minutes almost, but get over it. If you have low porosity hair, like I said, if you have high porosity hair, oils, things like that to coat your hair strand will work well for you. If you have low porosity hair, you want to, use products that are more water based, because like I said, water is the easiest thing to penetrate the hair shaft. So that's why most of my holy grails are water based. They're not like, you won't see me with a lot of thick butters and oils using those on my hair. They just sit on top of my hair and make my hair look crazy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any other questions, leave them in my pants. And I will talk to you guys later. All right. Peace out, kids.